Um, Today, what we're going to be doing is going through the second to last scene from the play that you read last night. It's a kind of physical scene. There's a lot of movement and it might get a little confusing. So I figured we'll watch a clip of it and we can talk through it. So we'll look at some of the subplots in the story, in particular Rodrigo's, how that's concluding, how that might reflect on future events in the play. The second half of class, I'll give you time to continue writing your Iago paragraph, which is due at midnight tonight. So that's the plan. Any questions before we begin? Okay, so end of Act 4 was the calm before the storm. We saw that kind of sincere, intimate scene between Emilia and Desdemona, where Emilia gave her view of women and infidelity, how it happens. That kind of quiet moment of conversation yields over to this action sequence that we get, with a lot more fighting and death and the things that Shakespearean tragedies are known for. So we'll watch this scene. Just so you know, with this version, it takes place at night. If you are an actor, the way you signify that is by holding a torch, because why would you hold a torch in the daytime? So there's a part here where the actors are sword fighting and they're kind of moving around like they can't see each other. It's because it's supposed to be taking place in the pitch black of night. So you don't think that's a weird moment. Okay, so I'll pause here and there to clarify what's going on. But I guess before I begin also, I'll ask, what's the big development in this scene? What's the unfortunate event that happens in it? Colin?
If I remember correctly, both Rodrigo and Cassio die, and Bianca's framed for the assassinations.
Yeah, good. Just to clarify, so yes, Rodrigo dies. Cassio doesn't die, but he's severely wounded. And yeah, Bianca gets the blame put on her. So we'll look at and talk about a little more detail there, how it unfolds, but that's the gist of it. All right, let me open up this video, turn off the lights, and then start. Okay, here we go. So just as a reminder, this is Iago, this is Rodrigo.
Straight will he come. Wear thy good rapier bare and put it home. Quick, quick. I'll be at thy elbow. It makes us or it mars us. Think on that, and fix most firm thy resolution.
Be near at hand, I may miscarry it.
Here at thy hand, be bold and take thy stand.
I have no great devotion to the deed, yet he hath given me satisfying reasons. 'Tis but a man gone. Forth my sword, he dies.
I've rubbed this young quat almost to the sense, and he grows angry. Now, whether he kill Cassio or Cassio him, or each do kill the other, every way makes my gain. Live, Rodrigo. He holds me to a restitution large of gold and jewels that I bobbed from him as gifts to Desdemona. It must not be. If Cassio do remain, he hath a daily beauty in his life that makes me ugly, and besides the Moor may unfold me to him. There stand I in much peril. No, he must die. But soft, I hear him coming.
I know his gait. 'Tis he. Villain, thou diest!
That blow hath been mine enemy indeed, but that my coat is better than thou knowest.
I will make proof of thine. I am slain. Oh, I'm maimed forever. Oh, help! Oh, murder! Murder!
The voice of Cassio. Iago keeps his word.
Oh, villain that I am.
It is even so.
Oh, help! Oh, light a surgeon!
'Tis he, O brave Iago, honest and just, that has such noble sense of thy friend's wrong. Thou teachest me. Minion, your dear lies dead, and your unblessed fate high strumpet. I come. Forth of mine heart those charms, thine eyes are blotted, thy bed lust stained, shall with lust's blood be spotted.
What? No watch, no passage. Murder! Murder! To some
Okay, let's pause there and check in. So my first question for you is about Rodrigo. How does he seem to feel about this whole ordeal at the beginning of this scene? Jason.
He doesn't seem like he's on the same page as Iago. It's kind of like Iago's peer pressuring him. It's not that big of a deal. Iago's peer pressuring him. It's kind of like, it's not that big of a deal. I can just find another girl. Iago is just sitting there like, no, you need to sit here and kind of just fight for her. She's special. And kind of just egging him on to do his bidding.
It's true. It does seem like it would be easier for him to just move on and find someone else. But you're absolutely right. One of the strengths of this version is that I think this actor is playing Rodrigo does a good job of showing how nervous and over his head he is. This version is like more of a comedic take than you might see in other versions, but he's kind of played as a sort of buffoon here, right? Peer pressured is a good way to put it. He says, "Be near at hand, I may miscarry it." It's kind of like, Iago, stay close to me. I might mess this up. And Iago's like, I'm here at thy hand. Be bold, right? Buck up. You could do this. And Rodrigo says, I have no great devotion to the deed. I don't really want to do this. And yet he hath given me satisfying reasons. And yet Iago's listed a bunch of satisfying reasons that make me think I should. 'Tis but a man gone. I guess it's just one guy, right? I could kill one guy. I'm taking out my sword, he's gonna die. So Rodrigo's really convincing himself to do that. This is not a guy who's a trained assassin. This is very much out of his comfort zone. Note, he's going against a trained soldier too, so it's not gonna go well. Iago has an aside where he says, I have rubbed this young quat almost to the sense as he grows angry. Quat here means pimple, so he's calling Rodrigo a pimple. It's kind of like I've plucked at this pimple until it's ready to burst, right? He knows that something bad's going to happen to Rodrigo soon. And then note here, how is it in Iago's best interest that both Cassio and Rodrigo die? I'll read this part again, and then you could think about that question. Now, whether he killed Cassio or Cassio him, or each do kill the other, every way makes my gain. Live Rodrigo, he calls me to a restitution large of gold and jewels that I bobbed from him as gifts to Desdemona. It must not be. If Cassio do remain, he hath a daily beauty in his life that makes me ugly. And besides, the more may unfold me to him. There stand I in much peril. Okay, so let's start with Rodrigo. Why is it in Iago's benefit that our Rodrigo be dead? Yeah, let's hear it from Norm.
been scamming Rodrigo this whole time out of his money. He doesn't want to have to, I guess, pay Rodrigo back.
Sorry, you kind of cut out towards the end. He's been scamming Rodrigo this whole time, and then what did you say?
He doesn't want to have to pay him back.
Okay, good. Yeah, so he says, at the beginning of the play, he said, get money in thy purse, sell all your stuff. And what we see here is what Iago did with the stuff was pretend to give it to Desdemona as a gift. In reality, he just kept it for himself. He basically robbed Rodrigo. So Rodrigo's going to find out about that, right? And get angry. What else? Why else? He doesn't say this, but you could infer why would it be in his interest that Rodrigo not be around, Colin?
He's a loose end. So, and he kind of already is inclined to dislike Iago because of all the things he got hurt by Cassio when he got him into the fight, and it's like he's been through a lot that he didn't want to go through in the first place. So he's already inclined not to give him in if he did, and also I just want to cut off all the loose ends.
Yeah, good. I would totally agree with the wording of tie up loose ends. It's almost like in a crime movie where after the bad guys commit a heist, some of the henchmen are killed off because they know too much. And that's the deal here. A similar situation with Cassio. So what does he say is his reasons for wanting to kill Cassio? Deja.
Basically the exact same thing that Colin just said, except he doesn't want Cassio to start talking to Othello and then work out their issues and have them both realize that they were both being conned by Iago. And so that doesn't fall back on him. So it's kind of the exact same idea, just
yeah, exactly. You could imagine maybe Othello confronts Cassio and says, hey, how dare you sleep with my wife? And then Cassio's like, what in the world? What are you talking about? And they might end up talking it out, figuring out that Iago's behind everything. So that's a liability. Norman, is that your hand up from before, or do you want to add anything else?
It's from before.
Okay. So good. There's another reason he mentions too. What else does Iago say about Cassio that's kind of vain and superficial? I'll go back to Colin.
He says that Cassio makes him look bad while also looking really good for himself. So he's worried that Othello's gonna make up with Cassio, and then Cassio's gonna get his job back, and then Iago's gonna lose lieutenant again to Cassio.
Yeah, that's part of it. Although I think I read it as even more shallow than that. It says if Cassio do remain alive, he hath a daily beauty in his life that makes me ugly. So Cassio is young, attractive, suave. In contrast, Iago's old and ugly and makes him look bad. So maybe that's literally, maybe it's in terms of rank, but he just is kind of jealous of Cassio too, right? That green-eyed monster again, and he wants him gone. Last thing I'll point out, you saw Othello come out on the balcony there for a second when Cassio's crying out murder. Othello doesn't run to his aid or get help. Instead, Othello says, "Oh, brave Iago, honest and just, that hast such noble sense of thy friend's wrong, thou teachest me." Okay. He hears Cassio's cries that Cassio's dying. He sees it as a good thing. So what is it that Othello is saying that Iago is teaching? What does he learn from hearing Cassio dying? In what way might Othello emulate Iago here? What do you think, Norm?
Well, he's gonna go kill Desdemona.
Right. And why does Cassio's death make him realize that?
I guess he saw that Iago wasn't lying, and he actually did kill Cassio. So now he's like, "Oh, he did his part. Now I have to do my part."
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, Iago, honest and just. Again, dramatic irony. You have such a noble sense of your friend's wrong. Iago, you saw that Desdemona cheated, or that Cassio, had this affair with Desdemona, and you killed Cassio for me. What a good friend. And you were so bold in doing that. I should be bold like that too. That's what he's learning, to be ruthless to avenge this imagined affair. He sort of sees this as like an honor killing. In Othello's mind, what he's doing by killing Desdemona is the just thing. It's like he thinks she deserves it. It's messed up, but that's where he is mentally right now. All right, so let's see the rest of this scene.
Chance! The cry is very direful.
Help!
Hark!
Oh, wretched villain!
2 or 3 groan. 'Tis a heavy night.
These may be counterfeits. Let's think unsafe to come into the cry without more help.
Nobody come! Then shall I bleed to death?
Hark! Here one comes in his shirt, with light and weapons.
Who's there? Whose noise is this that cries on murder?
We do not know.
Did you not hear a cry?
Here, for heaven's sake, help me!
What's the matter?
What? 'Tis Othello's ancient, as I take it.
The same indeed. A very valiant fellow.
What are you here that cry so grievously?
Oh, Iago! Oh, I'm spoiled! I'm done by villains! Give me some help!
Oh, me, Lieutenant, what villains have done this?
I think that one of them is hereabouts and cannot make away.
Treacherous villains! What are you there? Come in and give some help!
Oh, help me here! That's one of them!
Oh, murderous slave! Oh, villain!
Oh, damned Iago! Inhuman dog!
Kill men in the dark! Where be these bloody thieves? How silent is this town? Oh, murder! Murder! What may you be? Are you of good or evil?
As you shall prove us. Praise us.
Signor Lodovico!
He, sir!
Is Cassio hurt by villains?
What, Cassio?
How is brother?
The leg is cut in two.
Oh, bloody heaven forbid!
What is the matter, Ho? Who is that crying?
Who is that cried?
My dear Cassio! My sweet Cassio! Oh, Cassio, Cassio, Cassio!
Oh, notable strumpet. Cassio, may you suspect who they should be that have thus mangled you?
No. I am sorry to find you thus. We have been to seek you.
Oh, for a chair to bear him easily hence!
Alas, he faints! Oh, Cassio! Cassio, Cassio!
Gentlemen all, I do suspect this trash to be a party in this injury. Patience a while, good Cassio. Come, come, lend me a light. Know we this face or no? Oh, alas. My friend and my dear countryman, Roderigo. No. Oh, yes, by heaven, 'tis Roderigo.
What, of Venice?
Hi, sir. Did you know him?
No, am I.
Oh, Signor Graffiano, I cry your gentle pardon. These bloody accidents must excuse my manners that so neglected you.
I am glad to see you.
How do you, Cassio? A chair! A chair!
Roderigo.
He, 'tis he. Oh, a chair, I say! Oh, Signor Montana, some good man bear him carefully from hence. I'll fetch the sentinel surgeon. For you, mistress, save your labor! Cassio, he that lies slain there was my dear friend. What malice was between you?
None in the world. Nor do I know the man.
What? Look you pale? Stay you, good gentleman. Or bear him out of the air. Look you pale, mistress. Do you perceive the ghastness of her eye? Nay, if you stare, we shall hear more anon. Behold her well. I pray you look upon her. Do you see, gentlemen? Nay, Guiltiness will speak, though tongues were out of use.
Alas, what is the matter? What is the matter, husband?
Cassio hath here been set on in the dark by Roderigo and fellows that escaped. He's almost slain, and Roderigo quite.
Alas, good gentleman, alas, good Cassio!
This is the fruits of whoring. Prithee, Amelia, go know of Cassio where he supped tonight. Oh, what do you shake at that?
He supped at my house, but I therefore shake not.
Oh, did he so? I charge you, go with me.
Fie upon thee, strumpet. I am no strumpet, but of life as honest as you that thus abuse me. As I? Fie upon thee!
Kind gentlemen, let's go see poor Cassio dressed. Come, mistress. You must tell us another tale. Amelia, go run you to the citadel and tell my lord and lady what hath happened. Will you go on a fool? This is the night that either makes me or fordoes me quite.
Okay, that's the end of the scene. I don't know how I feel about how comedic they play it. Like, it's nice, it gives you a chuckle, but I feel like it takes away from the seriousness of what you're seeing, because, I mean, that's pretty cold. So Iago set Roderigo up, stabs him, other people are around right after he did his bidding, and just, you know, tosses him away. It's like, oh, you're not useful to me anymore. That's it, gone. So how do you see Iago getting out of this situation? Colin mentioned one way, which was that he blames Bianca. But let's talk about, you know, how does he go about doing that? And why is it maybe a really, I'm hesitant to say good choice, because obviously it's a pretty immoral thing to do, but why is it kind of evilishly smart for him to accuse Bianca of being involved in this somehow? Yeah, what do you think, Colin?
Because of Bianca's job, she that's generally like a profession that's kind of, I believe that's like generally looked down to, or like the same kind of opinion as today. Like, it's not a good thing. Like, it's like I don't want to say like disrespectful, but it's not I don't know how to describe it, but I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I think I know what you're trying to say. So like she's the prostitute, right? She's emerges, and imagine her perspective. She's coming out, she hears this commotion, and then she sees her boyfriend bleeding to death on the street. So obviously she's going to be distraught. She's going to look pale. She's going to be shaking. So in one way, Iago just capitalizes that. She looks freaked out. So he says, oh, look, she looks kind of nervous. Maybe she's involved. So there's that. But also, like, who else is he going to blame? Like, imagine blaming Lodovico, this like Venetian lord. No one's going to believe that. But it's basically like, oh, look, I'll blame the prostitute. Who's going to stand up for her? So she's a prostitute. She's thus lower class. She's a woman. So he kind of identifies the person who socially is at the lowest point among them and says, I'll blame her. There won't be like some political system that's going to stick up for her. So that's canny on his part, although evil. What else does he do to get out of it and to distract blame from himself? Just more obviously. Yeah, Deja.
He not only ties up the loose end with Roderigo by shushing him while he's stabbing him so that they can't hear him screaming, but he also kind of does a little dramatic kind of wailing type thing where he acts like he has experienced the worst thing he has ever seen. And then when his wife comes, he's sitting there and acting really frantic and kind of mirroring Bianca, except he's sitting there and of course he's the one
right
that killed both of these people.
Yeah,
or
good.
in
It's another part of the show, making it sound like he discovered this body, and it's like, oh no, Rodrigo, he was my friend. Like, how could this have happened? Whoa, how could this be? Let's round up people. We'll find the people who did this. So he's acting like he's part of the rescue crew, and of course he's in reality the puppet master behind it. Okay. So we'll take note of what Othello's reaction to the scene was, and now we have Rodrigo's story arc come to a close. See what happens with everyone else in the next scene. Okay, please read that for tomorrow. Any other comments or questions about Act 5, Scene 1? Okay, hopefully seeing it on stage helped make a little more sense. So for the rest of the period, you could have some time to work on that Iago paragraph. Just to remind you of what the requirements are, you're looking at how Iago changes the way he speaks based on who he's talking to. So you need 2 quotes, both from Iago to another character. So Iago to character A, Iago to character B. Doesn't really matter who character A and B are. The important thing is I want to see you explain the word choice that he uses, the tone that he uses, and how that helps him meet his goals. And please make sure it is cited using those MLA Shakespeare citation rules that I explained on Wednesday. There's an explanation of how to do that in the assignment, but I'll be happy to go through it or check your work if you're unsure if you're doing it correctly.